Hello,
Hello.
I'm Sarah Fahey Berkowitz.
I am Simcha Wolf.
Simcha, nice to meet you.
Welcome to Columbus.
Thank you. Thank you. So far, so good.
I'm sure all of us would like to know. I definitely would like to know. When I saw the flyer, I was really intrigued. Friday is definitely a day.
That's exactly what I was just talking about. Yes.
So
Friday's crazy, even if you're organized.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't
Somehow
matter.
there's always something, even
Right.
if you're done cooking for Shabbos. I don't know if you already started talking about it, but I would love to know. We would all love to know what is the concept of Chatzos Shabbos.
So Shabbos. Okay, so we already defined the word halachic midpoint. It could be Chatzos Halayla, Chatzos Hayom. Chatzos Shabbos. The definition is not in a very specific box because it's a concept. It's composed of a few different points. Okay, so here are some of the guidelines of Chatzos Shabbos. Your general goal is to be, and this is all in caps, mostly ready for Shabbos by midday Friday. Got that? Mostly is all in caps. Big misconception that you need to be completely done and no malacha after Chatzos. That's not the thing. So a Chatzos Shabbos means that you are working toward being mostly ready for Shabbos by midday Friday. Another sort of like guidepost for what we call chatzosers is you set your table on Thursday night. That's like a beautiful visual for everyone in the household, even if there's still a million things to do and the kitchen is chaotic and the house is chaotic. But that visual of the Shabbos table set says, we know a VIP is coming. We're ready. We're getting ready. Okay, so it's a really, really big concept. And then the final, and I think the most important one, is to do something small for Shabbos every day of the week. 2 reasons. Number 1 is time management. You're doing something Motzei Shabbos, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Friday is not overwhelmed. Friday can breathe. Second reason is that Shabbos, as we know, is the Makor HaBracha. So when you're bringing Shabbos preparation into Chol, you're bringing the Kedusha and you're bringing the Bracha into those days. And you will see more Bracha in your life. It's a guarantee. And this is not my promise, this is not my bracha. This is a bracha from every Rav you can think of. Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Hasidish, Litvish, from 100 years ago, from 10 years ago. There's a list on my website of Rabbanim on what they promise people and what they say about Chatzos Shabbos. So those are some of the guidelines of Chatzos Shabbos.
Okay. So I'm a very practical person. So when you talk about how every day of the week we should get ready for Shabbos in one way or another, can you give like an example of what one thing you would do every day?
Yes.
You know,
yes,
that's
perfect.
leading up to Friday.
Perfect.
Shabbos.
And this is also on the website. So if you go to giftofchatzos.org, you'll see suggestions of what to do. We all have very different households. You know, we all have different piles of what we need to do. So it's going to look a little different in every house, but this is a suggestion. So Motzei Shabbos, what I do is right after Havdalah, I get the candles ready for the next week. That's the very first thing I do to prepare for Shabbos. And what's so gorgeous about that is Shabbos has just departed. Shabbos is going away. The sky's getting dark, you know, all that. And we try to hold on to it by enjoying Lava Malka, hot drink, lighting a candle, telling stories of tzaddikim. I put the candles into the holder or fill your cups with oil or whatever for the next Shabbos, and that creates like this continuum. Shabbos just left, but I'm already starting on the next Shabbos. Sunday I might make a menu, invite guests. Some people are still cleaning up from Shabbos, but guess what that is? Preparation for next Shabbos. You're saying, look, it's not just a crusty cholent pot that's like weighing on your mind that you still have to do or whatever. It's getting ready for next Shabbos. It's a beautiful mitzvah to clean that pot. I'm doing this L'Kavod Shabbos next Kodesh. Oh, by the way, use a liner, really? Like, don't worry about the BPEA or the BP whatever. So Sunday your
parchment paper works very
parchment paper, or a 9x13 pan,
Yeah.
which can go in the garbage, also lined with parchment paper because you don't want aluminum in your foil. That's not good. So Sunday could look like that. You're still catching up, but it's not just catching up. You are actually preparing for next Shabbos. Awesome, fantastic. Monday, most people are going back to work or going to school. It's a busy day, so I say like go online and order something for Shabbos. Maybe you want pretty napkins or some kind of dessert that you could order or some kind of special sauce. Great, done. Kavod Shabbos Kodesh. Tuesday, what did God say in Bria Sa'olam on Tuesday? He said Ki Tov twice. So it's a great day to double up. Tuesday's kind of like an in-between, hopefully quieter day. So I double up on dips, sauces, marinades, things that have a longer shelf life. Wednesday I play sous chef. You know what a sous chef is?
Oh, yeah, like one.
Anybody know what a sous chef is? Sorry, right. I worked as a personal chef for many years and a recipe developer, so that's like a word that's, it's something that we all dream of. But when you play your own sous chef, what you're doing is just prepping everything, right? So you take out everything that you need for your soup and for your sides, and you peel it and you chop it and you put it in little Ziploc bags in the fridge. And then Thursday, which is pretty much everyone's day for a cooking marathon, you're taking out these like Martha Stewart bags and you're ready to go. Turn on the video and you have like a little bag of that, and you have a little, let's say I need fresh parsley or cilantro for something. I'm going to check it on Wednesday, dry it, wrap it in paper towel, and put it in a little Ziploc bag. And then it just, again, that cooking marathon is so much easier. So Thursday, as we said, cooking marathon. Friday, you're like finishing up. Maybe you marinated your chicken Thursday, but you really like it fresh and hot right out of the oven. So Friday afternoon, you're putting it in the oven to bake. And the chant was ready and in a bag, you're putting it in the crock pot. I save the apple crisp for last. So fish I also make on Friday. Salmon, very easy, just sprinkle it with something. But I don't want the house smelling like fish going to Shabbos. So my apple crisp, the apples are peeled and sliced, and the crisp is in a separate bag, and top it and put it in the oven last, so the house smells sweet. Practical enough?
Very practical. I love it. Ready to adopt it.
Awesome.
So
go home.
Very curious about the second question. What first drew you to this concept?
Great question.
There's so many organizations that help people in different ways.
Right.
This is such a unique.
It is so unique. There's no
concept.
other organization that does this. I heard that in Eretz Yisrael. I heard that in Israel. There's some Chatzos shops organization, but I can't find them anywhere. So this is it, and it is very unique. And amazingly, what happened to me happens to pretty much everyone, that they hear about it, and it's like a magnet. They're drawn in. Like, I want that, or I need that, or oh gosh, I wish I had that. So that's what happened to me. I was looking for something that my community in Atlanta could work on right before the Shabbos Project. Shabbos Project is a time where we all try to do something special for Shabbos. You all familiar with the Worldwide Shabbos Project out of South Africa? So you have the challah bake, which is beautiful, and the Havdalah concert at the other end, and it's so beautiful, but I wanted something more meaningful for our community. I was working for the shul at that time. So I got online and I started researching Shabbos programs, Shabbos this, and somehow I landed on a website called Chatzos Shabbos. And it's put together by a woman named Azriela Jaffe. Anybody heard that name? Okay. Azriela is the original Chatzos lady. She literally gets the credit for everything I'm doing now, and for thousands and thousands of people around the world completely transforming their week and how they come into Shabbos. Azriela is an extremely successful person. She's a professor of public speaking at Rutgers. She's authored over 30 books. She's run a few businesses. She teaches in schools and seminaries, and she's a balas tshuva. She speaks about it very openly. And even though she's successful, organized, efficient, her Fridays were also chaos. One morning, Friday morning, she goes to wake up her daughter. Come on, wake up, it's Friday, we have a lot to do. So her daughter rolls over and says, I hate Shabbos. And Azriela's like, she made a joke. She said, like a good mother, she validated her daughter, and she said, no, you don't. Don't do that. Don't try that at home. Not validating. And it was a terrible conversation, and I think they were both in tears, and it bothered her so much that she actually gave it time to think about, why does my daughter hate Shabbos? Shabbos is extra nosh, and spending time with the family, and wearing prettier clothing, and using nicer dishes and things at the table. Why hate Shabbos? What was her daughter really saying?
She hates Fridays.
She hates Fridays. And why did she hate Fridays? Because it wasn't fun. It was stress and pressure, and kids sense what's going on with their parents. Not just kids. I have a close friend who hosted one of these, and a cat adopted her, is what she says. Not she adopted the cat. For some reason, her cat meows like crazy right before candlelighting every Friday. So we'll get to the reason for that in a minute. Anyway, so Azriela thought to herself, there's got to be a different way, and she somehow discovered this concept, started teaching people around the world about it. I found her website. I was drawn in, so much so that I started teaching other people about it, and very soon after she retired. So you know, as Gift of Chatzos was growing, Azriela was ready to step back, and here I am. Yeah, and I found out like a couple years into it, I was talking to my mother. My mother is in her 70s and works for Microsoft and has always worked for Fortune 500 companies till 5, 6 o'clock. No Jewish bosses that would let her leave early. It was very difficult. We didn't have Chatzos Shabbos. She was organized, but we didn't have Chatzos Shabbos. So I called her and I said, Mommy, I discovered this amazing concept. It's called Chatzos Shabbos. And she said, yeah, my mother was always ready by Chatzos. So this is my bubby, who I never met because she died at 40. She never met any of her grandkids, any of her daughters-in-laws or son-in-laws. And for me to find out that I've been doing what my grandmother always did, my bubby, like if I wasn't passionate about it before then, that's it. You know, like this is in my DNA. So that just cemented it. I better let you talk.
No.
You see, I could go on and on.
It's very interesting because I think that a lot of us women now are just busy. We work. We're not just stay-at-home mom. Some of us are
and that's
as well.
Not a just.
And that
right.
Yeah, and time management is like at the center of Friday, cooking for Shabbos and getting everything ready, and this concept of, you know, the Torah thinks about the woman even on Friday. It's like
beautiful.
This is like, it's very interesting concept, and
the Torah thinks about everything if we think about it. Yeah.
Right. Like even if you like just take a break, you know, even if you don't have time, you got to take the time. You must take the time. So that's, you know, very relatable. One of the questions that came up is, what are the biggest misconceptions that people have when they hear the term Chatzos Shabbos?
Right, so I mentioned one of them, and that is that you can't do anything after Chatzos. Completely not true. You're doing light tasks for Shabbos, you're bathing, you're 100% allowed to do malacha. That's the first misconception. Second one is, I work out of the house, so I can't make Chatzos Shabbos. I get home from work at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, whatever it is. Absolute misconception. If you're someone that works outside of the house and gets home late on Friday, you can benefit from this even more than someone who's a stay-at-home mom, because you're not there on Friday from 9 to 5 or whatever it is to put stuff into the oven. So having a time management tool that'll help you spread things out, when you come home on Friday, you could breathe. So it doesn't mean being a chatzoser or succeeding in chatzos Shabbos doesn't mean you're actually sitting there like in your special tichel saying tehillim from chatzos and on. Although that's great if you could do that. Please let me know. I'm going to give you some names to daven for. So that's a second misconception. And let's just stick with those two. Those are the biggest ones. So just know you could do all kinds of things after chatzos, and it's for anyone. Stay-at-home mom, work out of the house mom, really, really for everybody. Yeah.
I don't know if it's a question, but I just thought about this. Does the organization encourage the children to be part of the routine, of the time management, of the routine on Friday?
Right.
And how to empower them to, you know, not see Friday as I hate Shabbos, but see it as, you know, I'm looking forward to it.
Right. So it is a natural outcome. So a natural outcome of the woman of the house being more present and having more oxygen is that the kids feel that and they enjoy Friday more. Not only that, I hear from my chatzosers all the time that their kids are now coming and saying, what can I do for Shabbos? Can I set the table? We have a WhatsApp chat with women from around the world, incredible different corners of the world, from South Africa, Australia, Zurich, Israel, Toronto, Plano, Texas, Gladesville, North Carolina, where the Shefa Living Community, this like beautiful new community. Oh, yeah. There's people from all, and then you have all the Brooklyn and the Muncie and the Lakewood and the Toms River, you know, and everybody is on that chat to support each other. People pose questions like, what do I do? We only have one table and I want to set it Thursday night. Anyone have ideas? Or my husband this, or my kid this, or I'm this. So on that chat, someone posted that she went to go pick up her daughter from school on Friday, and her daughter runs into the car and says, Mommy, are we chatzosers this week? It's like, she got into it. Like, she was so excited about it. Another woman, her bacher came home from yeshiva, and she started putting up a sign on the fridge, just a dumb piece of paper, nothing fancy, chatzos 1:47, whatever time it is. So her son came home, and he looked at the time, and then he grabbed a broom and he started sweeping the kitchen, which, yeah. When it's time for shidduchim, I have his name, okay? Just give me a call, I'll put you on the list. So the mother took the chatzos sign and put it on his back and took a picture of him with the broom with the chatzos sign on his back. It's just these cute, fun moments. Yes, somehow, even without telling them, we need to do this, like, don't make it into a stress point. This is something that if you decide you're taking on, it's just you. You can't control what everyone else does, but if you love it and you're enjoying it, they're gonna feel that and they're gonna be attracted to it and wanna be a part of it as well. Practically speaking, the Fireside Chat is the first way to introduce this to community. One of the next programs is called Chatzos Community Initiative, and that actually has materials targeted for kids. So there's something for the preschoolers. It's a little lanyard necklace to wear that says, I'm a Shabbos helper. When they're doing their Shabbos jobs, they go to the coat hook and they put on their little badge and they're like all important and it's super cute. Elementary school job ideas, teen commitment sheet. So there's a program where the whole family gets involved. Yes. And the men, it's interesting because there's not like a specific role for men, but they have the responsibility. You know, everything that we sort of like tend to attribute to women, men have that same responsibility, caring for the kids or providing food or whatever it is. Nowadays, as many women work as men work. So then what we start talking about is, are you working for yourself and can you control your work hours on Friday? This is a really big question because the Shulchan Aruch says all of this is just minhag and a beautiful idea. But concrete halacha from the Shulchan Aruch is that work that's done after Mincha Gedola, which is a half hour after Chatzos, so we're dealing with roughly midday Friday, work that's done consistently on Friday afternoon that's not for Shabbos doesn't bring bracha. So if you're working for someone else, like my mom at Microsoft or whatever, and you can't control your hours, you work till 4 or 5, you're doing something wonderful, you're supporting your family, more power to you. Don't leave early and say, sorry, it's chatzos and get fired, please, okay? I can't support you. But if you could control your hours, then just know that. Just know what the Shulchan Aruch says. Occasional work, okay, but it says consistent work done after chatzos is not gonna earn bracha. And there are people that have come to me with all kinds of stories of how they were so tempted, like, you know, at 2:15 to do something very small, and they did it, again, you know, and all of a sudden something went wrong and it didn't even work out, like whatever the little thing was, you know? So it's incredible.
Wow. This reminded me of, in my line of work, the last 2 jobs that I've had and the one that I still have, I had asked for Friday off. Mm-hmm. And I was very hesitant to ask for Friday off because everyone, even the non-Jews, are very, very eager to get Fridays off. It's the weekend.
Right.
So you're a newbie, you're just starting in the job, and you want to have Friday off, and everyone is telling you, don't even try. Mm-hmm. But then you remember that the reason why you want to take your Friday off is not the same reason as somebody else's, and when you're really communicating those religious convictions and those, you know, what's important to you, those values, mm-hmm. you'll be surprised that a lot of times people will listen. They really respect.
Yes.
And so, like, one example was that I had asked for, okay, every other Friday off, and I got every Friday off.
Wow.
And so, and it's into both hospitals that I have to work at. So don't give up. Mm-hmm. Don't think that people will not listen to you. A lot of times when you are very sure of your religious values, people really respect it, mm-hmm. and it's worth a try.
Right.
Worst case scenario, they'll say, too bad, you gotta wait
They
for your
like
turn.
learning about our lives. Like a lot of people that one person I work with follows Miriam Mizwagi on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's a little much, but she knows a lot of very niche things that we're observing.
Oh my gosh, like that we cut toilet paper before Shabbos.
Yeah, yes, she actually did ask me about that.
Yeah. They ask about the foil on Pesach, they ask about
Shoot, that's it. We're exposed.
100%.
We're exposed, but we're also a little more understood.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you to those influencers.
Yeah, definitely. So why are so many people, including myself, struggling with Erev Shabbos?
Okay, so Shabbos is the most spiritual day of the week. Whether we're tapping into it or not, that's another question, another challenge in someone else's organization. But we all know that the potential for connection to Hashem, connection to our true selves, is massive on Shabbos. Rabbi Goldstein's new book, Shabbos. I don't know if any of you have started reading it, A Day to Recreate Yourself. It's a beautiful book. And actually for the CCI, we're partnering with the Shabbos Project. So Rabbi Goldstein is a part of that. But when there's tremendous potential for something holy, there's going to be a tremendous counterforce trying to resist it. Whenever you're doing something right, you're working on a project, you're working on a chesed, you're trying to improve something, and there's so much resistance you're ready to give up, tell yourself, oh wow, this is going to be good. So that's what's happening. We're about to come into the most holy day of the week. The curtains are parting. We're getting to see God in all his glory, and all heck is breaking loose, right? Potential for Kedusha, opposite force is just as strong. But there's more. I just read this. It's unbelievable how I came across it, but I was at a friend's house who I rarely go to on a Shabbos. She had to put her daughter to sleep, so I was making myself comfortable, and I saw a pile of magazines, picked up the top one, and it said The Gift of Shabbos. And I thought, oh, perfect for me. Let me see what's in here. And I opened up to the first article by Rabbi Shapiro, North Miami Beach, and he's talking about why Friday is chaotic. And I was like, yes, talk to me. What is this? So he says that during creation, something is created on every day. On Friday, 10 things were created. But in addition, little known secret, another thing was created. It's called Af HaMazikin. Af HaMazikin are little destructive forces that try to make trouble. That's actually something that was created on Friday, and it still exists in the world today. And it explains all the chaos, so there you go. But the question is, what are you going to do about it? So the more you strategize, the more you're ready for it. Things are still going to go wrong on Friday, but if you have strategized and if you have spread your preparation out through the week, you can face it with more calm. You have the presence of mind to deal with it. So that's the reasons, the strong potential for Kedusha and those Af HaMazikin.
Growing up, I've heard the concept of everything needs to be fresh. And you make your challah on Friday, and yes.
We Ashkenazim, that day old.
And so it's
Our food doesn't taste that
I've had the pride to cook everything on Friday, but I guess I'm realizing now, I don't have to be so strict about it.
I mean, there's ways to adapt. Like I said, you can make, let's say you have a Sephardic dish that has 18 spices, for example. You make that little mixture in advance. Maybe you have that mixture anyway, whatever. There's little tricks you could do. There's little tricks and tips and hacks, and I send out a weekly email with some little tricks and tips and hacks. It's a mouthful to say, but there's ways to do it. That your food could still be fresh. Maybe it's not 100% fresh, but look at your choice. Calm, present, tremendous bracha, or a little bit fresher chicken. Is that a choice?
Without a doubt.
No judgment, but is that a choice?
For someone thinking, this sounds beautiful, but it could never be me, what would you say?
Is anyone thinking that? Vulnerable, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, why? What's the biggest challenge? Yeah.
Already, let's say you want to do something every single day of the week, but it's already a struggle just to be making dinner.
Right, to
Alright,
get through that day's
where's
tasks.
that extra half hour even that specific time?
I was gonna ask you at what stage of life you got involved in it, from that perspective also. It's a different stage of life. It's harder. I'm sure anyone could do it, but it's harder to imagine yourself doing it at different stages of your life.
Right. If you have, this is so weird, but I was just in Cleveland, and a couple days before that I was in Detroit, and in Detroit a woman kept asking me questions, but even if you're prepared, there's still going to be chaos. And as she's asking me the questions, the people who were local, the Detroiters, were kind of murmuring among themselves, and I'm like, okay, something's going on here. So I said, what's the deal? And someone said, she has quadruplet boys. So I said, oh, okay. You get a free pass. So I'm telling this story in Cleveland last night, and the room went quiet, and everyone swivels to look at a woman, and I said, no. And she says, yes, she has quadruplet boys. So who here is gonna have quadruplet boys? Come on, step up. Is that crazy? Okay, so I'm gonna try to answer all of your questions. I took this on when my kids were still in the house, but they were older, not underfoot. The woman who interviewed me last night did this completely when her kids were growing up, and she had totally forgotten about it now that she's at like more empty nester stage. So she did the opposite. When her kids were little, she felt like she needed it, and then when she didn't need it, she just sort of like dropped it, not on purpose, but it just fell away. You could do it. Where do you find an extra half hour when it's too much to get through the day? And here's where I get on a very high horse and I say you are doing too much. All of we are doing too much. So it could be in the preparation for Shabbos. And again, it's not a judgment thing. Well, yes, it is a judgment thing. It's a judgment on society because our from kosher society has raised the standards. I'm not sure what it's like in Columbus. Atlanta's still moderately chill.
All the time. Like we used to never have dips, right? 10 years ago, no one had dips on their table.
Right.
Now I'm making dips all week.
Right.
That's a Sephardi thing.
It's a Sephardi thing. And the salat, and like someone said, oh, Friday afternoon is just for making salads, but she was Sephardi, and I was like, just? Like, that's super intimidating. So what happens, you go to a Shabbos meal, and it's not enough to serve chicken. There needs to be 3 dishes that have chicken or meat in them. And there's about 5 side dishes, not just one dessert, one angel cake with some strawberries or whatever. It's like a buffet of desserts. So look at what you're doing for Shabbos and say, do I need to be doing that much? So that's the first thing. Scale it back a little bit. If you have plenty of time and plenty of money and plenty of help, sure, enjoy yourself, but maybe even then lower the bar because you're raising it for everyone else. And then you're like, your Shabbos table's less than because you only have 1 beautiful chicken dish and 2 side dishes. But guess what? That's enough. Like someone said last night, the appetizer that some people serve is basically a meal on any other day, right? Like salad, a piece of salmon or chicken, and you already had a piece of challah with some dips on it. My mother was there at the Detroit one, which was very special for me. And she announced, my sister was interviewing me, so she announced, ladies, I want you to know that these 2 women grew up without any dips. And my sister, who's a riot, said, we're going to therapy once a week, but we survived. So the thing is, dips are fun, right? Dips are fun, desserts are fun, and we want to do it. But when you take a step back and look at the big picture and say, hey, something's gotta go. I want to be superwoman, but it's having a toll on me. Then you decide you're gonna maybe do a dip swap with a neighbor so it could still be fun, but you're only making 1. Or you're gonna, when you have a quiet day, make a bunch of them and freeze them, because yes, they do freeze. Sorry, Sephardic perfectionist, but they do.
No,
That's what someone told me, that they don't freeze food.
So if you're making baba ganoush,
But
you
tofu
just freeze
base
the eggplant.
does. Just
I think
drain
it's
out
just
the
that.
water. Yeah, there's certain,
Right,
there's
you could do
elements you could freeze and then
My
add the
buchach
mayo or
freezes
the
very
tofu.
well.
Yeah. So I don't know if I've answered your question. That you're trying to get through a day. Sometimes just to get through the day, maybe you need the tips and the hacks for dinner, for easier dinners, and then you can find that 15 minutes for Shabbos. Sometimes it's scaling back what Shabbos looks like. It takes some work. And this is back to the 15 minutes Geico commercial, but I do offer free consultations. It's a 15-minute conversation where we try to identify, just me being as an outsider, where there's something maybe that could be changed in your schedule. So 15-minute conversation, identify something, make a goal, and then I follow up a month later. So you can be in touch with me if anyone wants to take advantage of that, because I have all the answers, of course, clearly, right? Okay, next question.
So for somebody who has little kids, and would like to really go full force and really try to have this time management process, what would be the first step that you would start with? You know, I believe in baby steps, and you know, it seems amazing, but at the same time, it seems like you're really changing a whole, you know, a whole schedule or a whole process into like over a week, and it might last for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but then how do we make sure that we have those lasting results, and like what would be the first step that you would go with?
Right, so the answer was in your question. Well, you used the word full force. Don't go full force on anything really, because that usually ends up like just failing, you know, like full force and then you kind of lose your momentum. Baby steps. And if you go to the website, how do I start page, it says small steps, people, small steps. So first small step could be, you usually shop for Shabbos on Thursday, you're gonna switch it to Wednesday. That's it. Just start doing that and see what else falls into place. And then once that's a good, strong habit, go to the next step. The next step might be that you actually are going to try to do something each day of the week, and you put a little reminder into your phone. could be your first step is you're making a commitment. My first step was a commitment that on Friday afternoon, I'm not adding another dish, another dip, another baked good. And I love cooking and I love baking, and I really did have the time. So the kitchen's clean, everything is good, and I'm like, it's okay, I could do it. I'm just gonna take out this bowl and the spoon. And weirdly, the stuff never came out good. It was like Hashem was telling me, hello, remember? Like, so a commitment that you really stick to. You decide, like what, maybe find a pain point or something that's super meaningful to you and make a commitment. Those are a few ideas. Setting the Shabbos table on Thursday night is a beautiful first step. And again, any of these first steps, you do them for a couple weeks until you're ready to take on the next one, and then you go forward. Yeah.
So this question says, at its core, what is the real gift of chatzos? But I want to ask you, like, when you implemented this process yourself, what did you find that was, what was the most impact that you had in your schedule, in your life, in your relationship? What was the most impactful?
I didn't expect shidduchim to be easy because, like everyone's families, we're unique, and shidduchim is just never easy, no matter who you are. You can have yichus, and you can have money, and you can have connections, and great looks, and whatever, but I was a little scared of that process. And when I look back at the 4 years since I took on this gift of chatzos, 2 out of 3 kids got married. Someone had an incredible job change. Someone else had a huge health change. And I didn't realize that as it was happening until I was asked a few years later, so did you see bracha in your life? It was actually at one of these fireside chats, and I had to think about it, and I went, whoa. Because just comparing these 4 years of the Berkowitz family life to the ones before that, I saw a massive change. Now that's on a very stepping back level. Zooming in a little bit, what did I feel in that moment? I felt oxygen on Friday afternoon. And I'm gonna be very honest with you. One of my daughters came to me and said, I miss the old way. This is boring. And I was like, you can't say that. It was very lively and high energy, and my son would be making potato kugel or making some kind of concoction, and she'd be making herself a late lunch, and I'm hovering around everyone, cleaning up after them, and there's music playing, and it's just a great vibe, but I'm really stressed out. So it didn't really work for me. So once I said, hey guys, the kitchen's closed after chatzos, I'm sorry, you're so welcome to do things other times, but this is my kitchen and I get to make that rule. It's closed. So there was no music and there was no action. So what we had to do, which I didn't do, I kind of failed at this, is I didn't put something else into Friday afternoon. And other mothers, other chatzosers are doing that way better than me. They're sitting down with their kids and looking over their projects, if they're younger kids, or they're taking a walk with their husband, or they're going to the gym. One of the women said, I never dreamed of going to the gym in 15 years on a Friday afternoon. She was like, this is awesome. But she's coming into Shabbos invigorated. So replace that frantic last few hours with something beautiful. And if you've got little kids underfoot, they're gonna do the replacing for you, but it's just gonna be more calm. This woman who did it when her kids were little, she used to take her kids to the zoo, to the park. She took them on trips Friday afternoons.
My sister takes her kids on trips
Friday afternoon, right.
Yes.
It's a thing. People don't like these people, but but it is possible. They're showing you it's possible. A friend in Detroit said that her grandfather-in-law used to come over midday on Friday, and he did not like what he saw, and he would say, really, this is not how Friday should be. And she loved him and she respected him, and she became a chatzoser or whatever. She didn't know the term chatzoser at that time, but she aimed to be mostly ready by the time he came to visit. So she said Friday afternoon she would sit on her porch with a cup of tea, but then neighbors started driving by or just walking by me what's her problem? I'm like, why? So she just takes her tea inside now.
But they do it better in Israel because Friday's their day off.
Right.
So that's the day they want to do.
Right. But guess what?
No, but it makes it harder.
It's
They don't
okay.
have Sunday.
Yeah, in Columbus, you are now given permission to sit on your porch drinking a cup of iced. Do you do iced tea in the north? Where I'm from, iced tea is a big thing.
Iced coffee.
Iced coffee, okay. You have my full permission to sit on your porch and enjoy Friday afternoon. So that last question, what is the gift of chatzos? Chatzos is one word, it's transition. You're going from that wheel, that hamster wheel, that rat race, that running all week and creating and doing, to just being. You can can still do malacha, but you're transitioning into Shabbos mode. It's like a halfway point. And that's the mindset shift that you should feel. It doesn't matter how much you take on, just feel that mindset shift that we're winding down and we're headed toward a slower pace. Yes.
So I get like Erev Shabbos, Erev Pesach, whatever, like, it's not, I wouldn't call it like anxiety, but like I have like a adrenaline, that's a better word. So like, even if I'm finished, there's some days that are so long, like Erev Shavuos, you know, like, it's like,
Because you can't start till 9, right?
Even if I'm finished, I can't be, I'm like, okay, what else should I do? Like, I can't stop, because I have this like it's Erev, whatever, it's an Erev. I can't just stop. So I guess I'm wondering, like, does that change? Like, what, like, I'm imagining that even if I were ready, I would just be like, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was having the same thought.
I'm
Like,
like,
I don't like the
I'm
idea
like,
of relaxing.
I'm so ready. I know I'm gonna have a crazy Friday. Something crazy is gonna happen tomorrow because I'm ready. Like, it's almost
But
like
then
this,
you'll be
like,
okay
reverse
with it.
psychology.
Right. Something that could go wrong will go wrong. Right. Anything that could go wrong goes wrong before Shabbos, before Erev Shabbos. But again, that's the question of, so you might as well have everything else ready. Your question, you don't think that you can sit down and just take a breath and then see what happens
I mean,
next?
I'm sure I could do that for
Is
like
that too
a few
heebie-jeebie?
minutes.
Can we talk to the yoga master here? How beneficial, health-wise, is, I'm not saying full-blown meditation, although that's also super healthy for you and totally a Jewish concept, but breathing.
I mean, we have a concept of meeting your moods. So if you're a real energetic person, then I wouldn't sit somebody down and tell them to calm down or meditate.
Because that's breaking them.
Right.
right?
It's like it's too harsh. But I remember when I went to visit Leah when she was going to school in Cleveland. She was in high school, and I went over to meet the woman who was house she was staying in. And Leah says to me, "Well, you can't meet her right now. It was Friday afternoon because she's taking a bath." And that blew my mind because I didn't know anyone that took a bath or had time to take a bath on Friday afternoon. But that was an example of something that she put into her schedule every Friday afternoon. She would finish in enough time to take a bath. I mean, Cleveland's cold and raw, so it was winter time, and that's what she did. So I would say, like, plug in something like every Friday afternoon I'm going to take a walk with my husband. You know, like that would be, I'm not going to sit and meditate, but I'm going to do something, I guess, pleasurable that would be purposeful and meaningful.
Right. Don't just break your energy, but go with it. Just shift it a little bit. And my goal, tell me if this is too lofty, is really to change the world, like to change how we all view Shabbos, that it's not normal to be a crazy mess and to fly into Shabbos. There's a high school in Atlanta called Tamima. Some of you have heard of it. It's a fantastic school, and they do a play every other year. So a number of years ago, they did one called THIS. Thank Hashem, it's Shabbos, like TGIF. Every scene was something having to do with Shabbos. One of the scenes was an old school European wedding setup. So you saw the canopy and a beautiful bride and the rabbi and the family and some little kids and all the townspeople. And the scene opens and nothing's happening. Sitting, waiting. People are looking at their watches and pulling out timepieces. After about 4 minutes of awkward silence, the chassan runs from stage left with everything crooked. His shirt's not tucked in and his tie is untied and his hat is crooked. And he flies over next to the kala and he says, "I'm here. Let's get married." What is that? That's us coming into candlelighting. And when I saw that scene, I just I couldn't breathe for a minute. Shabbos is so holy. The Shabbos Malka. She's our partner. Like, I'm not into these lofty, fluffy concepts, but it's a real thing. When God created the world, Shabbos said, "Hey, I don't have a partner. This day has that day, and this day has that day. All 6 days have a partner. Who's my partner? I need a partner." And God said, "Ooh, you have a good one. You have the Jewish people. They're going to be your partner, and they're going to take care of you." And however we take care of Shabbos, whatever Shabbos looks like, she's going to advocate for us after 120 years. So make your Shabbos look pretty good. Because when she stands before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he's going to see, oh wow, this is a Shabbos that was honored. Look at that chatzos sign on the fridge. Look at that little girl who couldn't wait to come home and help for Shabbos. And look at that woman who took a walk with her husband and decided she's not making 18 dips, she's only making 11 dips. Whatever it is, you know? This is real, you know? Did I answer?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like the harder I work on Friday, the more satisfaction, so to speak, I feel when I light my candles. It just hits differently. As opposed to, I'm invited out for Shabbos, I don't have anything to cook. And so I'm relaxed going into Shabbos, but I don't feel like that actual separation
Right.
of
I know exactly what you're
Shabbos.
saying. Do
You
you
know?
all
You don't feel
relate
like you
to what
earned
Simcha
it.
saying?
Right. Right. I don't feel like I earned it.
Friday,
You earned
though.
it.
I don't think it has to do with Friday. I think it has to do with working for Shabbos. So I think if you work throughout the whole week, you
Yeah.
will feel the satisfaction. It's only when you don't have to work because you're going invited out that you don't. But like, I don't think it has to do with like that you work on Friday. It's that you worked the whole week towards Shabbos.
Right.
don't
No.
know.
So
What I
working
hear you
throughout the
saying
week-
is almost like, you run a race and then you get to the finish line so you could stop and you could breathe and you feel the transition so much more because you were running at 60 miles an hour, whatever people run at, and then you stop and you're like, ah. So lighting the candles when that peace descends, if it was chaos before, it's a really strong change. Is that what you're saying?
It's almost like you're forced to stop, regardless of what's happening. But I agree that having the tools to divide that throughout the week, it basically brings that peace earlier in the day, on Friday.
So it might not feel exactly the same. It might not feel like a huge turnaround from running and running and doing to not. It'll just feel more serene, possibly.
Right. Like the way I see it, like I'm also a grad student, so like I get a lot of satisfaction from finishing assignments ahead of time. I cross it off the chart of my assignments and stuff, and so I do feel good about it. But it's not the same as you worked and you ran around and you really like physically and sometimes emotionally with your kids, worked hard towards Shabbos, and then you light the candles and there's something
Right.
very special that just settles.
Spreads over the house.
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
Right.
So
That's beautiful, but
Yeah.
sometimes what spreads over is total exhaustion. Total like, oh.
You come sit right here, honey.
Well,
You
okay.
can give this class.
Like, so you know what I mean? So that's
Yeah.
like, and
Right.
that's the downside of that is that
Right.
like, after you run a race, like sometimes you like fall, like at the
Yes.
end of the race, fall
Right,
with
for sure.
exhaustion.
And your heart rate's
So
really
like,
high.
that's like
and-
when it's like too much in one day.
Right.
That's what
Right.
happens.
I guess I'm
It's just
also
the
like
balance.
trying to comprehend how I would put this into my life. And like for me, on Fridays when we come home from school, I come home from school with my kids. I work camp or whatever till 2:30, and then everyone does their jobs, and then they're all showered, ready, whatever it is, and it's the one day a week that they get to watch, something of a show, so that I can be able to go into Shabbos relaxed. But that's how I'm getting everything done. Like, I don't know how I wouldn't use that time to be preparing for Shabbos. Like, it's so that I can be able to go in relaxed, that I'm not talking to my kids, I'm having to do all these things. So I just don't know when else in the week, as Ahuva said, like, I also like to make nice dinners during the week. Like, I don't feel comfortable, like, serving something that I wouldn't want to eat, and, like, just being like, well, yeah, I need this night to, like, cut all my carrots so they're ready. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to see how to
Okay, so I'll
fit it
tell
in.
you a couple things. So first of all, these things that you do to get ready for Shabbos, some of them are 5 minutes, some of them are 10 minutes and 15 minutes. And you are gonna do them on Friday, but you're gonna do them on Friday under more pressure and stress, and that tension isn't good for you. So doing it earlier in the week, you're gonna do it with a little more menucha, hopefully. In terms of your mommy time when they're occupied, watching a concert or whatever it is, it could be they could do that on an earlier day of the week. There's strategies, but I'll tell you something. You have it in you to succeed, and I'll tell you why. In Judaism, when you're Shomer Shabbos, when you're Shomer Halacha, there's no question, none of you have ever gone past Shkia and just said, you know what, I need another 20 minutes, sorry God. Like, it just doesn't happen, right? That's a hard deadline. So you're wired to work really well with deadlines. You have the ability to change that deadline for yourself. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but you created the system that works for you, knowing your deadline is Lichbenchen. Now you're gonna maybe consider creating a system that works for you with a different deadline. And it's gonna take a little bit of strategizing. So it's gonna be like a little crunchy at first, but I think you'll succeed if you want to.
We do it throughout the year. I mean, winter is very different than summer.
Exactly. And are we racing any less in the summer than
No,
Right.
Definitely not.
That's a perfect proof. Right.
like 3 to 4 hours difference.
Right. It's Murphy's Law, Mordecai's Law, whatever you want to call it. Whatever time we have, we're going to fill. And the deadline, we're going to stop. We are excellent at stopping at deadlines. One of my chatzosers just said that she looks at this time, like, you know, the show Chopped? So she looks at it like a chopped buzzer. She stands back, okay, whatever's done, that's how we're presenting the food. It's very cute. Personally, I don't look at the chatzos time as like a drop dead time. My goal is to transition. It's not like I step back from the counter at 1:32. It's transitioning about that time, being mostly ready by then. It's not, you know, so we post the chatzos times on the chat, but it's just to get an idea of when midday is. It's not, again, not halachic time. Thank you so much for being here. If there's any questions, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes, and then I need to drive
I have
before
a
it gets
question
dark.
that might be loaded in our community, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. I'm curious to know if when you presented this to communities that hadn't taken it on yet, was there ever, and you said you went into the schools, right? That was like the school might have been involved, or?
No schools.
Oh, no schools, cause I was just wondering, cause I know in certain communities, school ends much earlier on Fridays. And in our community, it ends like at 2:30, right?
Yeah.
On early day, on when Shabbos comes in
Winter.
early, and then.
No, not anymore. We
No.
don't do that.
No.
Baruch Hashem.
So it's always 2:30 now on
Oh,
Fridays?
it's
Always 2:30.
It's
always two.
Okay.
Like just
Yeah.
the
4
6
So
o'clock?
that's,
for like the first few weeks until.
Oh, wow.
It used to be 4 o'clock.
used to
Yeah.
be 4,
Okay.
okay, so I guess
Not
they
anymore.
changed it to 2:30, you can tell
Okay.
how old I am. But,
Only if you're a teacher.
if that's past
Parents,
Chatzos, right,
it's
and that's
amazing.
past Chatzos, so
Right.
in essence, our children
Thank
and
you.
the teachers are
But,
still working.
but I think it's crazy. I
So
don't think we should
has that ever
do it for the
changed?
parents if the
Like,
teacher is
did
doing
the
stuff.
communities ever change that based on the concept that when you're working past Tatzos, you're not getting a bracha for your work, or you're not
Right.
getting,
Right.
that concept.
So they might have the dispensation of what's happening in the schools. It's a Talmud Torah. It's a place where they're learning Torah.
Oh, I
And that's a
see.
beautiful thing to do on Friday. So it could be that that's how it's, I don't want to use the word justified, because no one's
Gotcha.
trying to justify anything. Everyone's trying to do the right thing. What do they do in Israel? Do the schools close early on Fridays? If they even have school.
Right.
Right, right. So
And people
we could look at that as more of an ideal society.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
Yeah,
okay.
and if you go into the very religious communities, their supermarkets, bless their souls, are open till 4, 5, 6, but the shoe stores and the sneeze clothing stores, they close early on Fridays for the most part.
Yeah.
Or so they should. There's a business owner in Lakewood who, after October 7th, he was looking for something special to do, and he decided he has a huge printing business, printing, marketing, graphics, everything. He's closing his business at Chatzos on Friday. Huge business decision. He employs over 100 from women. Okay, so that was huge for them. He now closes 12 in the winter, 1 o'clock in the summer. Not only that, he put up a billboard in Lakewood encouraging other business owners to follow suit, and a few of them did.
Wow.
So we need more people. That was Mr. Ben Heineman of BP Print Group. We need more people to make bold moves like that and to normalize this. Things shut down on Friday afternoon. We're focused on Shabbos. And here's the irony. We do want to be focused on Shabbos. What's going to the gym? Guess what? V'nishmartem es nafshosechem. You're taking care of yourself, and you're going to go into Shabbos invigorated and healthier because you haven't had time to go to the gym all week. So it's a beautiful thing to go to the gym on Erev Shabbos. Whatever works for you.
I just say, like, I've never worked on Friday, but I find sometimes it has the opposite. Because you know you're not working Friday, that's when you plan to do all Shabbos.
I actually found not working on
Right,
Thursday
sometimes
was
you're more
a lot
prepared
more
than
helpful for me
Interesting.
to cook for Shabbos, so then I don't have a choice. When I come home from work on Friday, I don't have a choice. Everything
Right,
has
so
to
you
be
had
ready.
to do it on Thursday,
Yeah,
right?
So I haven't looked at the
Right.
website. Can you, can you talk a little bit about, unless you did before?
No, not
Like
at
what
all.
kind of resources or what
Right,
kind
so
of-
first of all, it's giftofchatzos.org. You can find the rabbinic stories that I mentioned. So there's like, what is chatzos? How do I start? Meet the chatzosers and recipes, because we all love food and recipes. And I happen to have worked as a recipe developer for many years. So it's like one of my passion areas. Meet the chatzosers. You could just read little stories about other people who have taken on steps, and we're building that out. How do I start? We'll give you what to do each day of the week. What is Chatzos has links to different videos and different sources, like Azriela Jaffe has a 45-minute audio lecture She is so easy to listen to. I don't listen to lectures very often. Like, it's got to be someone really stimulating and dynamic for me to listen to them. She is so easy to listen to. But she talks about how this started, waking up her daughter, what the process was, and then how to shift into becoming a chatzoser. So that class is linked on the site, and other little kind of like definitions and motivational talks. There's like a commitment sheet you could download and fill out for yourself. You can sign up for an accountability partner. You could join the chat, sign up for emails. You know, it's like a whole list of different things.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
Wow, thank you. I don't think I ever got
a lot of
clapped for
great
it.
wisdom. No, this was a great
We're
wisdom.
out.
And